Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport, just doing a video on how to do a proper oversize. So first off, when I first did my first oversize, I didn't have anybody that told me the exact thing to do. The priorities are you don't have to have beacon flashing lights in every state. I would. Just because it looks more professional, and it's just the right thing to do, man. I mean, and don't have the battery powered ones. You're going to be going through a ton of batteries. Those Fox light things, those magnet ones, are pretty much they're going to cost you. So these beacons up here, I think, were probably $20 a piece, and then we just hardwired them at our shop. Drilled through the lights, of course. The back of the mirrors. So up here on the top, we just ran a cable down inside this bar, and then came up inside here into the door housing, and then just went to the hot lead and put them both on toggle switches, one there and then one there. So, anyways, I shut the truck off so you guys could hear me. So the must-dos for oversize is I would have beacon lights. The guy I first drove for in Brown Deer, Wisconsin, he didn't have any beacon lights on his tractor or his trailer. And he wanted me to run. And then I got pulled into a scale house in Illinois. And the guy, and I'll get into that once we get inside the truck about the provision sheets. But anyways, let's go on the outside first. You got to have beacon lights. You got to have an oversized sign in the front of your truck with the license plate not blocked. It's got to be visible. You got to have a flag on each corner of the front of the truck. You must run with your headlights on and your running lights while you have an oversized. This one is 12 foot wide. It's an overhang on 2 feet on both sides. And then you got to have a flag on the furthest, widest part of the load. You have to have one flag on all 4 corners of the widest part of the load. So you got to see that's the widest part, and then obviously it goes in here. And then you have to have a flag on the rear of the trailer on both corners. So you can see how wide we are there, and we have the two flags on the outside of the corners. And then you got to have your rear flags. You have to have rear beacons. Don't have the magnet ones. We hook these ones into a toggle switch right here that kills them. So it runs right off of the taillights, and so that's where you get your power from. And then on the other, then you got to have a rear oversized sign. And then the same thing on this side. You got to have, and one of the do's and don'ts of trucking, don't step in these piles or those puddles, because it's probably piss. So, anyways, I got to thump my tires after this video. So you got to have another, like I said, the widest portion of the load on all 4 corners. All right? So that's what you got to have. Easy peasy, nice and easy, but nobody told me that stuff. So I had to learn it the hard way. All right, another thing is you don't run your GPS. Good morning, by the way. You don't run your GPS. You run everything off your Atlas. Because on your permits, I'm in New Mexico right now, so I don't have to worry about it. And I would have left already, but I had a shutdown. Just so you know, well, we'll get into that with the permits, but typically every state is almost the same. You have a half hour before sunup, you can leave, and you can travel as long as it's within your 11 hours driving. You can travel till a half hour after sunset. So a half hour before sunrise and a half hour after sunset. So my goal was to get over to Albuquerque at the Flying J there on I-40 and and then wake up early and then go through Albuquerque before the rush hour. Because another thing you learn when you do oversize is you're going to have curfews, and the half hour before sunrise and the half hour after sunset are considered curfews as well. But you also have travel curfews, which means during rush hour. So like yesterday, I was in Eloy, Arizona. I had to shut down there because I picked up in Yuma, Arizona Wednesday, and by the time I got loaded and tarped the load, I didn't get out of there till after 2 o'clock. So I really didn't have much boogie time. So I was forced to shut down in Eloy, Arizona, because my travel curfew said I couldn't travel from mile marker 161 to 130 something, I believe, on I-10 in Phoenix during the hours of 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. And all this stuff is on your permits. So, like I said, I've already figured it out. So I'm just trying to help you. So, and I guess, I don't need to turn the camera on. You guys don't need to see my ugly face. Let's look at the road. So anyways, so now Albuquerque has the same travel curfew. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I cannot travel. And that's pretty much all oversized, unless you're like 10 foot and under, I believe. But once again, that'll be on your permit. So if you're near a large city, you're probably more than likely going to have a travel curfew from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. because those are rush hour traffic times. So they don't want oversized loads in there to obviously get into an accident or screw up the flow of things. So, but once again, it's on your permit, and I'll show you. So like I said, in Phoenix... So anyway, I left Eloy, Arizona yesterday morning at around, I was probably about maybe an hour from Phoenix. So I left out of there. Oh no, I'm sorry, about a half hour from Phoenix. So I left out of Eloy, Arizona, which is east of Phoenix, on I-10 at the Petro there. I left there at around 8:30. And I got to mile marker 161 at almost exactly 9 a.m. So I'm here on mile marker 108, and there's cheap fuel for you. If you guys are ever in New Mexico on I-40, east or westbound, stop at the Casablanca Travel Center. It's a casino and a truck stop here. $2.49 a gallon. That's crazy cheap, man. So if you're an owner-op, it's at mile marker 108. Mile marker 108. So in New Mexico. So anyways, so you have... I had a phone call from my insurance agent, so I couldn't really pick it up. You guys are more important. So, if you notice here on I-10, let's see if I can see it. Yeah, right here. From mile marker 130, I thought it was 130 something. So from mile marker 133 to mile post, well, we call mile markers or mile post. MP is mile post. 133 to 161. Table for width over 10 foot. So 10 to 16 feet, which I'm 12, you can't travel from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., okay? So, now, if you are caught in there and a cop catches you, you're going to get a citation, and you're also going to probably get your permit revoked. And that's not good things, So try not to beat the system. I got popped in New Mexico outside of Albuquerque when I first got in. Well, I wasn't a rookie at Oversized, but truck was moving slow. I wanted to beat the Albuquerque curfew, blah, 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 and I got caught after dark and got a citation and got my permit revoked. So anyways, so I already know that what happened. I'm not speaking as, I think what's going to happen. It will happen. So another thing, like I said, you don't run your GPS because on your permits, it's going to have, now see, all permits are supposed to go, the driver first off has to sign the permit. Make sure you always sign the permit, even if it doesn't have a place for you to sign. sign a part of it, and never sign the back where it's blank. Always sign the front. And the reason why you sign it is you're contesting or you're agreeing to that you have read and understand the permit and the provisions of the permit. Okay. If you're only doing a single trip, you're going to want a single trip permit. So I'm not doing a round trip. I'm just going one way. So whenever you file for your permits, always do a single trip. Single trip oversized. It's OSOW, oversized and or overweight. We are not overweight on this. Actually, we're light on this. It's only 20,000 pounds, so it's nice. But anyways, so if you have, if on your permits, because if you're 10 foot and under, and realistically, anything that goes over the side of your rub rail, where your straps go down into, technically anything that's over that rub rail is considered an oversize. I'm over it all the time with my dunnage, and cops don't really do anything. But if you're significantly over by like 6 or 8 inches, you're going to need an oversized permit. But if you're over a couple inches, man, cops don't really mess with you. So don't let these guys and gals tell you, oh, yeah, you're going to get popped. Fuck you. You know you're not. Just keep on rolling down the road. And if you don't do oversized, please keep your mouth quiet. So, but anyways, so on your permit, it will tell you where you can travel. So when I first picked up Yuma's on I-8 right by the Cali border. So it tells me that I'm going to be traveling on I-8 milepost. That's where I'm starting. And I'm going to be traveling eastbound because I'm heading to Ohio. So now on I-10, once I get to, I'm going to be on that for a while. Okay. And then at milepost 133, oh no, I'm sorry. That's from my restrictions. So when you're moving at milepost, I think it was, I'm trying to look in the camera, but I can't really see. It's kind of, anyways, your travel, whenever you file for a permit, don't use a permit service. I made the mistake one time of I didn't really know what to do, and let's look at the nice Interstate 40. So I didn't have the time, nor the experience or the skill, or probably the knowledge to pull my own permits. So what I did was I used a permit service, J.J. Keller, and I went from Portland, Oregon down to Houston, Texas, and I think that's, I can't really recall, but if it was Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming. And Wyoming wasn't even included in this cost, because when you get to the port of entry in Wyoming, you have to, okay, so I kind of digress again, or I back up, and I'm kind of hit and miss on this stuff, but as I'm coming into something, when I start talking about it, I might as well touch on it. So the state that you never call for a permit, you call ahead when you're, say, for instance, you're on I-80 and you're going from Utah into Wyoming, and you're going all the way across Wyoming. When you get to Wyoming, you have to obtain a permit. You cannot get a permit from Wyoming online. And I'm only letting you guys know because nobody told me this. I found out the hard and embarrassing way. So when you're on I-80 or anywhere, if you're going into Wyoming and you have an oversized load, you have to call ahead. You better find out where. Always, and like I said in the trucking do's and don'ts of trucking do's and don'ts, know where you're going at all times, man. Know where you're going at all times in case you break down or you lose GPS signal or you don't have phone service. Know where you are, man. Know where you are. And if you don't know how to read an atlas, and if you don't have an atlas in your truck, you're wrong. You are wrong. You are a no-go at this station. You need to have one of these. Don't always rely on your phone, your GPS, or your tablet, okay? You need to get one of these. They're not expensive. Before GPS and all this other stuff, these were probably about $150. Now I see them for like $30, $40. Get yourself an atlas. It's got every state in there. Know where you're going if you're driving a semi, okay? Please. Know where you're going if you're driving a car, man. My wife knows how to read a fucking map. So anyways, and she's been traveling since she was 16 years old. No, she's not a fucking gypsy. So she went down to St. Louis a lot when she saw her mom down there. So she's an experienced traveler. So I was very, very, very impressed when I saw that she knew how to read a map. So anyways, have one of these. Now, when you file for one of these, your permit, you need to know what your route is, okay? So I knew that I was picking up in Yuma, Wyoming, or Yuma, Arizona, sorry. Oh, back to Wyoming, I'm sorry. So when you're going into Wyoming, you know you're going through Wyoming and you're on an oversized. Do not wait till you get to that state to go into the port of entry. You have to call ahead to the port of entry. That's what I'm saying. Know where you're going. If you're on I-80, Google I-80 eastbound port of entry, Wyoming port of entry. However, then they'll answer. You got to know all your information, so don't do it while you're driving. You got to tell them what size you are, what you're hauling, what your name of your company is, your USDOT, blah 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 blah, your plate, all that kind of stuff, your plate number. And then what they do is they give you a clearance number. You write that clearance number down, and they'll tell you when you pull into the port, stay to the left, go to the scale, wait for the commands on the speaker. An officer will probably more than likely come out and measure your load, and then they'll tell you to go off the scale, park, and then come on in and get your permits, $25. So I was a dumbass when I was I went from Portland, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, into Texas, and I went all the way to Houston. So now minus Wyoming, so it was Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Texas. 6 states. I think I was only like 10 something wide, 11 wide maybe. Some steel going from Portland to Houston, like I said. They charged me $560 or $570 some dollars. That's almost $100 a state. Yeah. So, and like I said, I paid for Wyoming. So that's only, 6 states I said? So when they told me the price, I was, whoa, holy shit. You know why I was holy shitting? Because this permit for Arizona, I think was $15. $15. Now, Texas was 70 something, 74 something, and I'm just going across I-40, so that's pretty expensive. Oklahoma was expensive, $43, $44. New Mexico's $25. Arkansas was like $20. I still gotta do Missouri's. They're gonna probably be like $20. Illinois was $15 or $20 or $25. Indiana was $20 or $25. Ohio, I'm not really sure because Ohio's kind of a pain in the ass right now. We're finding out. I didn't think Ohio was going to be that difficult to pull a permit in, but shame on me, I didn't do my research. So that's what I love about trucking, man. Every day is new. You're learning something new every day. And then you find out the hypocrisies of things, and you're like, wow, that's fucking crazy. Or the lunacy of things. You're like, are you fucking nuts, man? I got to do all that to pull an oversized permit? Yeah, you do. And if you don't, you're not gonna pull that oversized through the state. So anyways, like I said, I've already figured it out. I'm just helping you guys figure it out. Learn how to sign up. Learn what your another thing. So a lot of people, I didn't know this. I got popped for a speeding ticket in Arizona. And the same day I got my permit revoked in New Mexico. I was driving for this guy. He had a piece of shit ass truck and it was going super slow. I was doing like 10 miles an hour up hills, and I wasn't even heavy. It was just a piece of shit truck. So I was trying to make up time. Didn't realize, and I didn't do my homework, and I didn't know because I didn't check my permit. And if you don't, you can also get answers from Google. So like, I wasn't really sure because I hadn't taken an oversized through Arizona in a while, and I was like, maybe because I seen some oversized units going flying by me. I'm like, did they change the law for the speed limit for oversized? The oversized speed limit in Arizona is 55. The oversized speed limit in New Mexico is 65. Now I'm only telling you this because I didn't know, and I went through Arizona. I was doing like 64, and the cop busted me. So, and that's when I found out. Oh wow! And the owner of the company didn't tell me. Hey, watch your speed. Nobody told me this shit. That's why I do these videos, man, to help you guys out. Like I said, I don't give a fuck. I already figured it out. But I'm supposed to be rolling already right now, but I don't. I'd rather, if this video helps one person, and I know it sounds cliche, oh, if you save one person's life, no, whatever. But if seriously, if this video helps one person, then I'm happy as can be, man. Then I did my job. So, anyways, like I said, just if the permits you can do online, but you have to gain online access. And in order to gain online access, you have to have your own authority or whatever the case is, or if you roll for somebody, they should have online access. It makes things a lot more easier. And as a driver, I never pulled my own oversized permits. The owner did. I mean, I went into the port of entry and then I paid cash, and then he just reimbursed me. But then I ran into a snafu yesterday. I used to, because I haven't come through New Mexico in a while with an oversized. I come through a lot with regular ones, but not an oversized. Well, we used to stop at the port of entry. Right when you come into the port of entry, you just wave to them, I'm going to go get an oversized permit. You park, you go inside, you fill out a piece of paper, you pay them their $25, you walk out with a permit. It was as easy as that. So I'm thinking, okay, same thing. Nope, wrong. So I pull in, guy says, oh, we don't sell permits here anymore. So now I got to park. Thank God I was on my brake. That's what I'm saying. Use your brake to your advantages. A lot of people are always bitching about the brakes. Oh, you can't tell me I got to take a break at exactly 8 hours. When you come out of your sleeping berth, it's DOT regs. When you come out of your sleeping berth, after 4.5 hours, you can legally take your half-hour break. It does not have to be at exactly 8 hours. That's what I thought until somebody started bitching about it. I'm like, man, that's just crazy that they can tell you exactly 8 hours. What if you're exactly on the road at that time? Well, it's not. It's anywhere from when you come out of right when you come out of the sleeping berth is when your 8 hours begins, not after your pre-trip. So right when you come out of that sleeping berth, 4.5 hours later, you can legally take your half-hour break, but not after 8 hours. So if you're 8 hours and 15 minutes, and you're going to get popped. But anywhere between 4.5 hours to 8 hours, you can take your break. Well, I used that break. I used it on my... Here, I'll show you. I used it on my... And I had some people commenting on my ELD. They're like, dude, don't... My ELD is plugged in. It's right there. Dude, I said, dude, it was just a tutorial. I only did the ELD thing to help you guys out in case you guys... You can see my line's green, but you can see when I loaded, right? I was there forever on Wednesday when I picked up because they didn't have their shit together. So anyways, I used my break to my advantage. I was still being loaded during this time, but I said I was on my break. So use that to your advantage, man, right? And then yesterday, I used the permit. That's how long it took me to take pull my New Mexico permit, because I couldn't go in there and get it. I had to go online. You cannot go into the New Mexico port of entry and get a permit. Actually, while I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to go on my pre-trip real quick. So and I got to get done with this video so I can get out and thump my tires. Also, I'm sorry, guys. So, anyways, on the New Mexico port of entry, you cannot pull your permit at the port of entries anymore. You have to have online access. So, shame on me for not knowing. So, sorry guys, I'll be done here in 1 minute. So yeah, so that is where you have to know things that are going on, and don't pay a company like JJ Permit Service, because oversized aren't paying what they used to pay, man. They're really not at least not what I'm getting paid. So, and which isn't a whole hell of a lot of times. But anyways, if you pay somebody over $500 to pull permits, man, you got more money than sense, man, because you're going to save yourself probably $300 by doing it yourself. $300 is a lot of money if you're just, I literally started pulling my permits Tuesday in Phoenix because I got the load and I had to work on permits. I'm not going anywhere. I couldn't pick up till Wednesday, so don't be lazy. Get some knowledge, man. Learn how to pull permits. Get one of these. So anyway, so like I said, you don't run your GPS because on your permits, it tells you the routes you got to travel. And then when you go online, it's going to ask you what route you're going to want. So like in Ohio, we're coming in on the Indiana, this is Northern Ohio. So we're coming in on I-70 from Indiana. So I'm coming in here at the Indiana border. I wanted to go all the way across 70 to 77, I-77 north, and then we're going up into here into Glen Willow. So you have to make sure that you know exactly where you're going on this stuff. He's actually looking at his truck. Wow. So if just know where you're going, and if you guys ever have any questions, man, you guys can always call me, man. I tell my number to everybody. I don't give a shit. 414-477-7845. Again, that's Kurt. 414-477-7845. Time Machine Transport. And just if you have any, like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know, man. I'll try to help out anybody that I can. And you can always email me too if you had any questions, or just leave a comment and I'll get back to you. So I hope this video was helpful. I got to go thump my tires, but I got to get out of here. I'm already late. So, it's Friday. Can't deliver till Monday. So I'm not too panicked. And if it doesn't get there on Monday, fuck it. I get there on Tuesday. So, but yeah, like I said, I hope this video was helpful. And if it was, if you need any help, give us a holler or leave a comment. And please like and subscribe to the channel. Please, I do videos, do-it-yourself videos all the time, and I'm not a know-it-all. So anyways, hope this video finds you well. God bless. Ciao.